I think my favorite part is just the animals. Honestly, I have the freedom to rescue a pig if I want to. I rescued a donkey. We rescue cats. The dogs are all rescue, and I think that's just so cool to be able to do that. You know, I really thoroughly enjoy the animals and being able to work with them and being a part of their life and taking care of them. The history of Scarboro Creek Equestrian Center pretty much started after another place that I started in De Pere, because I needed more space. So this property that I'm on was owned actually by a company that my dad owned. So we negotiated a sale and a trade kind of for my last place for this. And I started from the ground with this in the middle of a cornfield. The current size of this facility is the Equestrian Center sits on 20 acres itself. So we have an indoor arena, outdoor arena, riding pad, and we have 40 acres attached to this with trails. And the facility houses 30 horses inside. And we actually have 5 lean-tos outside that house horses that live outside 24/7. I have a team of employees, 1 full-time barn manager, 1 full-time assistant that lives upstairs, so he lives on site, and he does a lot of the maintenance and feeding and day-to-day things. The barn manager sort of schedules everything, makes sure we have enough workers here for cleaning, feeding, and she also helps with scheduling lessons and things like that. And then we also have high school students, some of who are part of the youth apprenticeship programs in the high schools, so they're employed part-time as well. So we wake up generally before 6 o'clock. Feeding is about 6 o'clock. All the horses have to be fed, grained. We also have a dog boarding section in the back, so most times we have a few dogs in there, so they need to be fed and let out as well. And after feeding all the animals, including the donkey, the goats, the pig, dogs, all of that, the horses do get turned out. So they're let out for a few hours, try to every day. We clean their stalls, which are bedded with shavings, and then rebed them. And then after a few hours or so, we bring them back in and we feed a lunch. So they're fed again at noon, more hay, just not any grain, but more hay. And then our riding starts after that, generally. Sometimes in the heat we ride early, but generally we start right after the horses are brought in. And we have about half the barn is show horses, so those get worked or get something done almost every day. And after that, they go back to their stalls and they get fed dinner, which is about 5 o'clock. And then the guy that lives upstairs does a nighttime check and grain at 9 o'clock. So it's a long day. I think our farm is unique in a couple different ways. We have everything from very beginner people that want to start out. They've never seen horses. They've never been around horses. We have school horses, older horses that they can feel comfortable, and we're comfortable with them on as far up as the national level, because we compete at the very top. We compete at the World Show. You know, we also do the open shows. So our program here is pretty diverse, where a lot of barns are not that diverse. A lot of are either on the top end, where that's all they show. They only go to the top level shows. They don't do the open shows. Izzy and I, my barn manager, and I are helping coach, which is a volunteer situation, the Denmark Equestrian team. So they actually compete at the high school level. But I think we're unique in that, and also the rehab part of it. There are a lot of barns that won't take in horses that need rehab, because it can be a tough game to play. You know, the horses can't talk, obviously, like any other animal. They don't know, they can't tell you. And horses are big animals, very fragile animals, and they have to be in top shape to be able to perform in any way. So I think the biggest thing that I did in the last few years was purchased with my family some property in Dykesville, the Painted Pelican, and then the restaurant is the Painted Pelican Restaurant. So that's been an undertaking. For a future goal, one of the things that I thought about when I ended up acquiring this property, it's 300 acres, which is quite a bit, much more than like a stable would need, in the fact that we don't do our own hay, we don't, we buy all of that, and that part is leased out. But my goal kind of with this long term was going to be to start an equestrian community, where this would be sort of the center point of the community, and then everybody that bought a piece of land, built a house, would be able to be part of this. Either they could keep their horse here, or they could haul in, or they could ride in, because I'd have a bridle path around the whole property, and then they could bring their horse in to ride or take a lesson. And I thought that would be kind of a cool way to utilize 300 acres. Advice I would have for a future farmer, horse stable owner, would be to be prepared to work all the time. You don't get many days off until you're super established and, have enough employees, which I thankfully do, to take over, because they are 24/7. 24/7 without a doubt. And my advice too would be that if you don't love this, don't do it. Because it's a commitment that you really have to love it.